one of my newer stocks, Iren, uh, had their earnings last week. And I just wanted to talk more about it because this is a company that I think less people know about, like as opposed to like an Amazon. I don't really need to
Right.
break anything down there. So the actual earnings numbers were not great. Revenue missed by 19%, EPS missed by 189%. Plus, if you remember Iron, so they do like AI data centers, but they also have a Bitcoin mining business.
Right.
And
Right.
Bitcoin's just
The
in the middle
Bitcoins.
of this bear cycle. So that did not help them. Um, and then the biggest, I think, issue with their earnings is there was no new headline contract. So right now their biggest contract is with Microsoft for like 9.6 billion, something around there. Um, and investors want to see another big contract happen.
Mm.
And there was no announcement there. So those were all of the negatives in my opinion. The fortunate thing as an investor is, to me, they feel all like short-term negatives. Uh, assuming they could improve growth,
Right.
Bitcoin's eventually going to break out of this bear market. And I think they're going to, or I know they will have another big contract. It's not like an if, it's a when. Um, the biggest news that they announced was they announced a new Oklahoma campus that's going to generate 1.6 gigawatts that will
Oh wow.
start ramping up in 2028.
Okay.
Um, that is a 55% increase from their already planned capacity. So it was a
Wow.
huge announcement and arguably like the next best thing I think they could announce after a new contract, because this is what you want to see from this type of companies that they're going to be executing.
Right. Right.
And actually, let me show this off. So they had a slide. Let's see. So we actually, on Earnings Hub, we just started integrating the slides right into the product. And there is a
Why don't you
slide on.
expand it
There we go.
so that we can see it a little more?
Yeah, thank you. So I think this slide does a great job where you could see this 3.4 billion is what they are targeting. 3.4 billion ARR is what they're targeting for the end of 2026. And
Okay.
they're going to generate that from 10% of their total capacity. So you can see Oklahoma's, the new capacity they just announced is over here.
Based on megawatts. Interesting. That's really cool way to look
Yeah,
at it. So 4.5 gigawatts is what they expect to have down the road.
exactly. Yeah. And it's going to take, some years to get there. It's
Yeah.
going to take a lot of depreciation from an investor perspective, right? Because the build out's going to be expensive.
Right.
So
Right.
it's not like it's a direct line, but
A lot of
I think
capex,
the
which is
optim, yeah, I think the outlook is very bright for this company, and for the 3.4 billion that they're targeting for this year. So 1.9 billion of that is coming from that Microsoft contract. 1.5 billion is their internal estimates. So that, like, you know, I would take that number with a grain of salt. We'll see what it actually is at the end of the year. But regardless, I think there's a ton of opportunity for this company, but you need patience.
right.
It's definitely a longer term investment. So overall,
Okay.
I was optimistic on the earnings call, but the market reaction was very negative. And I commented, or I think on Twitter, saying if the stock remains weak, I'll buy more. So I think it hit a low of like $32 after hours or before market. And then it started going up again. And
Going
I think
up.
now it's at around like $40. And this is the difference between you and I. You would have bought regardless, if even if it was going up. And I'm like, no, 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 I want that $32. So I'm sitting out stubbornly and we'll see.
That's
But
funny.
the other thing to note, because it's tied to Bitcoin, I think there's similar to Robinhood, there's larger pieces at play here. So I'm just taking my
Right.
time with it. Plus, my initial investment was only like 0.5% of my portfolio, and now it's already up to like over 1.5%. So like it's the position size is growing pretty rapidly. So I don't feel like I need to
Right.
jump in or anything.